Colleen, I've had a lifelong battle with anxiety. And for people with anxiety, just saying that, they can get more anxious, right?
Anxiety provoking.
It's true. But, throughout that battle, God has been so faithful. And I've seen so much growth in my life through different things that I've done, felt led to do Christian counseling, biblical principles, all these different layers. And for our viewers watching right now who might be saying, well, I'm struggling with a mental health challenge.
Yeah.
But what are some of the holistic ways that I can combat the mental health challenges I'm having and experience growth and possibly even thrive in the face of it?
Absolutely. Not possibly.
Right.
And thrive.
Yes.
And thrive. That's, why we do the work that we do, right? Laura, thank you so much for being transparent and vulnerable. Even by you saying that, you are helping to break the stigma connected to mental health and challenges that we face in that regard. So like you said, we're holistic beings. We're not one-dimensional. We are kind of multi-layered. That's the beauty in the way that God has created us. So when you think about your mental health and your wellness, emotional wellness, you want to think about the different aspects of your personhood, your body, mind, spirit, all of those things. So thinking about your mind, there's a thing a term we use within the space called mindfulness. It's this idea of kind of presence of mind instead of allowing, because the world is so chaotic, and we can sometimes feel like being pulled all over the place. It's this concept and this practice of coming back to the present moment. This idea, even if you look at it from a biblical perspective of being still, being in this moment, instead of allowing your thoughts to pull you into the future of what could be and all these potential unknown things that might be, frightening. Where am I right now? How am I right now? That's a discipline that we can absolutely work on and build and practice so that we could have optimal mental health and wellness. Yeah.
That's so good, Colleen. And you're just speaking to my heart there, where you talk about the world pulling us in so many different directions. As a mother and a wife, as a woman, in this century, there's social media, there's all these different layers, tasks, to-do lists, like every thought I'm having for my family's well-being, for mine, for those I love.
Yeah.
And, being mindful is so important, but it can be incredibly challenging to get to that place. One of the things I've started doing after some really sound advice in my life was just writing lists, like a list of everything that I have to do. And that's so important. But I also find, too, capturing the thoughts that are coming in. And there's you've talked to me about this in the past, one-to-one privately.
Yeah.
But capturing our thoughts.
Capturing our thoughts.
Because there's so many, and we can be whirling from them.
That's right. It's like you got to know what is actually weighing heavily on you, and you can't do that with a crowded space. And this is why we need to practice getting still, slowing down our thinking so we can actually figure out what it is that needs our attention. The other piece I would encourage us in terms of our body, Corinthians says that our temple is our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Yeah. And so recognizing that we have a responsibility to take good care of our body. Yeah. What are we doing with our body? How are we fueling our bodies? Are we resting enough? Are we moving enough? Our physical health is going to also impact on our mental health. And the other thing is going to be our spiritual life, our spiritual man, as it were. As believers, we know that God created us with a God-sized hole. He's placed eternity in our hearts. We long for connection with God. And so nurturing that, all of those things, it's going to help to boost our mental health and help us to be able to combat when challenges and struggles come in life.
So good. So being mindful, taking captive our thoughts, understanding what's urgent, what's not, moving our bodies, going for a walk, all of these things start to promote higher levels of mental health.
That's right.
Connecting with God. And then what about this connecting with other people?
Community is life. There's a saying that says it takes a village to raise a child. And what I say is you never outgrow the need for your village. We need each other. We're not meant to be in silos, in isolation. And I feel like that is sometimes a strategy and a tactic of the enemy to isolate us, because alone in our thoughts, alone, kind of combating our struggles, we feel easily defeated. But when you have a community around you that says, Laura, you're doing an excellent job. Laura, you got this. Laura, let me come and help. And tell me what you need, and then come and support in that kind of way. You feel like you really can take on the world. So we need to think about all the different facets of how God has created us and work to build those up and trust God that great things are for us and great things are coming.
Oh, so good, Colleen. Recently the Lord was really saying to me, just ask for help, Laura. So you've hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
So many of our viewers can ask for help too. Colleen, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is amazing.
Can't wait for our next conversation.
Yes.
Well, if you need help right now and you are saying, well, I need help, please call our prayer lines, 1-866-273-4444. There will be someone there to pray with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Prayer partners who love you and care for you and can connect you to local community where you can meet other followers of Jesus who can encourage you along. And if this conversation just now encouraged you, please look for Conversations with Colleen on our Crossroads streaming platform, www.intothecastle.com.